So this module manager is just where you can close the different or switch the different programs. Now, the programs, most of them are working through the Aura software, and she made it that way because the Graph software is a standalone software, and the Chakra software is also a standalone software. But the Aura software, she kept the right free, so you can put in your own interpretations, which is in your blue technical manual. And I always invite everyone to go through this manual a few times a year, so that way you're actually reminding yourself of features you may have forgotten about, because honestly, unless you're playing with your system and trying all the buttons and going through everything, you're not going to learn it. And this will just remind you of certain things. And I can tell you, when Martina came here after she invented the system, I actually showed her some things that the programmer did that she didn't even know she had. So there's a lot of shortcuts that we can actually do in in the program itself. Now, I want to go to a common organ. I asked Martina, why does some organs not illustrate a face treatment? And that's because not all the organs are represented on the face. So not all the treatments for the Chromalive are going to be on the face. So what we simply do here is we go to a weak organ and we look at the treatment protocol that it's giving. And I just have to adjust my screen here a little bit so I can show you guys everything. So what we're looking at here is that it's giving us the analysis of how to do a treatment based on the color we're seeing. Now, what they're doing is the common principle of color therapy. So the thymus is showing an orange, and in your manual, it references what this means, but in a nutshell, orange means it's a water imbalance. And so therefore, any organ that's orange is illustrating that there's a water imbalance. And in fact, with this client, we can see there's orange in the legs, so she's probably retaining water in the legs, okay? But because the thymus gland is orange, we need to then use an astringent color that's going to literally take that excess water out. So we're going to work with the blue and indigo blue color. Now, with the Chromalive Penlight, you can actually add filters. And I apologize, I forgot to grab my Chromalive. So I'm just going to grab my Chromalive. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Purse. I take it everywhere with me. Okay, just so you know, my wonderful brother made me a carrying case for my Chromalive. I carry it in my purse 24/7. So I have it with me on the go. I actually do treatments when I'm driving. So if I'm going to, say, for example, visit my mom, I actually put the yellow light into my Chromalive Penlight and I prop it in my belly button. I give myself a self-treatment for a half hour. And yellow kills parasites, so it's a great parasite protocol. But I just wanted to show you that with the Penlight, and I have one of the original gold ones. My Penlight is probably about 12 years old. So some of the gold has worn off because obviously I use it a lot. But all you do is unscrew it, and then you put in the different color filters into the receptacle here. So right now I've just got the magenta in there. And I was doing that for a reason, but so that was my treatment this morning, was using the magenta. And just to kind of show you the color there, you can see it's quite bright. So when you're doing a treatment, you're just treating the hand. And it comes with 2 different tips. I tend to use the broad tip when I'm driving more so, but of course when I'm doing treatments on clients, it's based on what I'm doing with the client. So for example, if I'm not doing a body treatment, then I would just be using the puncture form tip, which has a refined tip versus the broad tip. I'll turn that off just so you can see the broad tip is quite big compared to the puncture form tip. Okay, so this can go into the cresses, like the points of the hand, quite nicely. It's more refined reflexology, because if you try to use your finger to get into these areas, it's a lot harder to do it. Where with the puncture form tip, you can really, you know, get in there and move it around. But in the mornings, often what I do is I do face treatments. Not that I'm vain or anything like that, but if I can, you know, help get rid of wrinkles, and I'll share with you, I'm 58 years old, so I think I'm doing pretty good for my age. You know, so what I do in the morning is I'm just using, you know, the light therapy around my eyes and above my upper lip. And a lot of my girlfriends, they have a lot of the crinklies that are coming into the lips. I don't. So I attribute it to the fact that I'm constantly using the Penlight. So in the mornings, I'll do a 15-minute anti-aging treatment. And like I said, depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing, I'll do other treatments. But it was a medical doctor that actually shared with me. He said that the blood circulates in the belly button every 15 minutes. So by actually putting the light therapy into your belly button for 15 minutes, you're doing a treatment. Now, he only told me yellow. He said, yellow, when you put it in the belly button, you're killing the parasites that are in your blood. However, I've also learned some other things. For example, red is really good for strengthening the blood. So it's really good for people who are anemic. Okay. Or if somebody has a lot of dehydration, you can put the orange in there, because orange also promotes oxygen in the blood. Okay, so every color has different attributes, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys in an email, hopefully soon, a lot of my different charts, because I'm creating more charts and I laminate them, and we sell them for $12, but I'm going to be doing a promo where if you buy 10 of the charts, you'll get them for $100, so you'll get a bit of a savings. But I'm doing these laminated charts to give you a lot of sheets to simplify things. However, I give you a lot of things when you buy the different tools. So when you buy the Chromalive, I actually give you a library of handouts for doing all kinds of protocols. And one of the new ones that nobody has seen yet, except for one person, I did email one person, but I haven't shared it. It's an actual sheet that has blank spaces. So for doing a Chromalive treatment, you can actually color in the dots what colors you want the client to work on. Okay, so if you're renting out a Penlight, which often I suggest you rent out the basic and you keep the elite for your treatments, but you can also highlight this sheet with oils. So if you want the client, for example, to do, you know, a strengthening treatment for their spine, you would do a red dot, maybe make a notation that they would use the red chakra blend, and highlight all the organs that are related to the root chakra that you want them to use the oil on. So when they go home, what they can do is either use their finger and the oil to massage it in, or, you know, sell them a gemstone, right? Because that's another product we sell is gemstones. And then they're using the gemstone therapy with the aromatherapy with the reflex treatment. And then what you're doing is you're adding the color component to it. And every treatment that you do on the hand or the face, you should always use an oil or an essence. Because what you're going to do then is you're going to program the crystal tip with the frequency of the color. And then with the light behind the color, you're just going to amplify the intention more so. And the software program makes it really easy for you, because you can see here for this individual, they would be doing the treatment specifically for that. So you can highlight it on the sheet and have them take that home and then put their oils on there as a treatment protocol. Isn't that awesome? Yay! I'm having so much fun creating these things for you guys. So whatever you buy, I'm going to support you with a bunch of things, you know, for free, because to me, there's a lot of these things that I don't charge for, that I've just developed for my own self and for my clients. And I just want to give you as much information. However, I could tell you, for example, this probably took me, I would say 20 hours to make. And so it's a lot of work that I put into these things. So sometimes if you wonder why I'm not calling you every day, it's because I'm creating things to give to you. So, and some of you are already Chromalive owners, so I'm going to be sending out an email with some of the new handouts in there, okay? But for some of you who are looking at investing in the software or the Penlight, then you'll be getting these things when you purchase these items. So with the software, I just want to go through there, but I'm going to flip back onto another organ like the lungs, because that's a more common one. So I want to go through the software so you can see what's all encompassing. So it starts by organ description, and it doesn't matter what organ we're on, it will always have the organ description. So right there, you're going to learn about that organ, which will just help you when you're doing more of the holistic consultations. I do rely a lot what's on screen because I don't have a lot of this memorized, okay? I don't memorize everything. My humor, right? Okay, going back to the lungs. Then it goes into the protocols and it'll show you exactly what color you need. But you as a practitioner still have to pick out the 4 or 5 organs you want to work on. And typically you're going to work on every organ for 5 minutes. So if you pick 5 organs, that's a 25-minute treatment. And there's more to that, because we have to understand that sometimes, you know, you'll be treating for 3 to 5 minutes, but then you should always counterbalance with green or turquoise to stabilize the frequency. So if you're, you know, if an organ is gray, you're trying to excite it, but you don't want to get it too excited. Versus the same way goes the opposite, where if you want to sedate an organ, you want to sedate it, but you don't want to sedate it where it then plateaus, you know, to a lower level. So you want to stabilize it, you know, following every treatment with green or turquoise, which is another reason why the broad tip is really nice, because you can do the individual colors on the face, stick in the green or turquoise at the end, and then just shine the whole face, you know, doing a 5-minute balancing treatment. Okay, you do get a chart that breaks down the different colors to support you, whether you get the software or not. So again, I provide you with a lot of tools and, you know, to help you get going with the software or without the software. Now, you'll notice it says tonate 1 to 3 times daily. Now, I don't have any Germans on today. That's not my market that I typically sell to. But in Germany, a lot of practitioners are working in spas or healing centers where the clients are there 24/7. So the client is actually being treated 2 to 3 times a day. But because we can't do that in North America, we're lucky if clients will come back to us once a week. This allows us to create these other treatment protocols of where they come to you for a light therapy treatment. You can rent them the Penlight so they can do it 2-3 times a day to get to the results faster, because it's ludicrous to think that one treatment is going to cure them. It may, but chances are it's a continual thing that we need to break. Now, I also always tell everyone, there is nothing in the world faster than the speed of light. Ta-da! Okay. Also, a lot of people are into sound therapy. I love sound therapy. I have tuning forks. I work with, you know, sound myself. However, sound bounces off of mass. Light penetrates mass. So this is what excites me very much about the Chromalive, is that it gets to the cells very quickly. And it was Professor Fitzpop that discovered our cells contain biophotons. These biophotons are both light receptors and light transmitters, meaning we're giving off light quanta from our different organs. This is what this software is. It's showing the light quanta that we're giving off of every organ and gland. However, to treat that light quanta imbalance, we need to then need to neutralize it. And how do we neutralize it? Now, let's just pretend this is a wavelength, and this wavelength is red. Well, it's incomplete. But when we do the blue light, what happens? We create the wholeness of the cell. So this is how easy it is. Now, there's no other diagnostic device on the market that does this. And this is, again, why I get so excited. A lot of systems, they're giving off frequencies, and not that it's bad, but those frequencies are going anywhere in the body. With this software, we can pinpoint it. We can actually, you know, go to you know, every organ and gland and create a color therapy treatment protocol for anything, whether it's oils or nutrition or herbs or whatever. We can base it on that, because everything in the universe is color coded. Every herb is color coded. Every nutrient is color coded. So if we know vitamin C is orange, and orange is going to help with the, you know, absorption of the water into our cells, you better believe we want to do orange in mass, whether it's orange light or vitamin C or orange oils or whatever it is. But my point is, we want to inundate those cells with the color frequency that's going to help it. And then when the client comes back, we retest them, we see how the progress has progressed, and we keep to the protocols that we need to. And we got to understand that we're pretty stubborn and stuck in our ways. Put your hand up if you can sometimes be a little stubborn. And keep your hand up if you can be very, very stubborn. Okay. It took me 2 years to shift the energy in my throat. Okay. It was a lot of things I had to work through to get to that level of, you know, communicating myself to the level that I do today. And even then, I'm very sharp with my tongue, and I have selective communication. So I understand I still have work to do in that area. But nonetheless, you know, we have to understand that everything is about a progress. If we release one program, another one can come surface from another time of our life. It can or cannot be, or it may or may not be directly, you know, correlated. And that's another wonderful thing about this program. Not only does it give you the treatment protocols, it also gives you a lot of information in regards to Chinese medicine, as well as body language based on a lot of noted experts like Louise Hayes, Dr. Delkey, Dr. Diamond. You know, so here we're getting a lot of information that will help us understand. Now this, some of it is in the training manual based on my own experience. This software was created by people who are experts in the industry. Not to say that I'm not an expert, but it's my take on things that you get in the manual. This is another perspective. So it's just more information that's layered on to help you learn more and more. But I love this, you know, here, you know, negative emotions could be sadness. We know that, you know, sometimes we'll take things to heart and we get very sad. So a lot of these things are give you a modality to discuss with your client as to what they can do. Plus you have the remedy, right? And then the other thing that it shows you is an affirmation. And I like to make up affirmations with the client based on the discussion, because obviously if we have a discussion, you know, so for example, I had a woman and she had pneumonia. So I wasn't getting a reading on her lungs. They were great. And I asked her, what's going on in your life that you're repressed? You know, you're not taking in your life breath at this moment. And she told me that her son decided to go to war. He signed up for the army and he was being deployed to Afghanistan. And I said to her, so literally in a way, when she found out the news, it took her breath away. Okay. So because of that, she ended up with an imbalance, because also breastfeeding, the chest area, her son, there's a huge correlation of emotions with children and mothers in the breast area. And even Dr. Christine Northrup discovered the correlation between breast cancer and associations with parents. So again, there's a lot of correlations that we can make to this. So my point is, you know, with her, I remember I made an affirmation for her that was based on her situation. So we can create these different affirmations, but hey, if you don't think of one, look at, you've got 3 right there in, you know, in regards to the lung. So for every organ, it gives the treatment protocols, either on the hand or the hand and the face. It gives you the organ description, the organ language, and the affirmations. So you get all this information with the Chromalive. So for me, this is one of my favorite softwares, because for one, I am 100% on board with light therapy. I tell everyone my first language is the language of light. My second language is English. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up to discussion again. Okay, so any questions?
That was really, I've never seen the, I don't use the Chromalive enough. I actually like that.
I sleep with my Penlight sometimes, just so you know, it's my first lover. And we're not talking. And I'll share with you, just because, you know, I don't know why. Hanuman, it must be you. I don't know the business you're in, but I remember one time I took my Penlight on a plane with me, and they stopped me, and there was 2 women looking at the screen going, "What is that?" And I went, "It's not a vibrator." And they started laughing, and they said, "Well, what is it then?" And I went, "Well, it's light therapy for anti-aging." When I travel, I say it's light therapy for anti-aging, because then the customs officers that are specifically men are not going to say anything. Okay.
Right.
But anyways, needless to say, you can use it all over your body, and anyways, it's a handy tool, and you can buy a you know, I actually had it in a pencil case until my brother made me this nice carrying case. But I put it in my purse, so I take it everywhere with me, because I never know when I'm going to treat someone, and I'm never going to know when I go, oh my goodness, yeah, I got my Penlight in my face, I got to treat this, or I got to treat that. And I can share with you hundreds and hundreds of stories about this. And my recent one is, I was walking my dog Tex, and he's actually sleeping on the floor with right now. I take him to the office every day, my little sweetheart.
Aww.
But he's sleeping on the floor right now. And anyways, he's a hound, and he saw something in the bush, and he literally pulled me, and I was I was jogging with him. He literally took me off my feet, and I hit.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm but the thing is, he did it 2 days in a row. I can't believe I got sucked right into it. But I fell on my knee both times, and then on my side. So what happened was, as soon as I got home, I, of course, took out my Chromalive, and right away I started using the blue light on my knee. And because the walk, so I took out the blue light, and I started tonating my knee. And the next day when I woke up, my bruise started forming on my leg, but my knee had no bruise. Yet I hit my knee way harder. Okay. And I can also share with you, last summer I was rock climbing, and I climbed one of the highest mountains in Norway. Not Everest, okay, but nonetheless, it was still quite the feat. And I got my foot lodged in between two rocks, and it was really lodged in there. It took me a couple minutes to get it out, and I could tell that I crushed my toes. And when I finished the hike, it was a 10-hour mountain hike. And when I got off the mountain, I started tonating the Chromalive. 2 months later, I lost both toenails, and I had no idea. I had no idea, because I was using the Chromalive so much. It took away any pain. The toenails never turned black. They were always pink in color. And yet what happened was, I could tell that they were getting loose, so I suspected they were going to come off, but 2 came off. So that tells you the impact of, you know, the damage. And also with the bruise on my leg from my wipeout with Tex, I actually then started tonating, but because the bruise, swear to God, was this big, and the light, of course, does a circle. So where I did the circle was totally gone, but it was a shadow of a crescent moon where I wasn't able to use the Penlight. But again, I could tell you stories. A woman's daughter got bit by a bee. She pulled out the Penlight, used the blue light. Normally, she would have had to have given her the EpiPen. She didn't have to do it.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I also have a clinic in Mexico that use the Penlight, and they say that they're curing every cancer patient with it. So I am a firm believer of it. And of course, you know, for yourselves, you guys can do anti-aging treatments, because why not?
Right.
I use it for anything. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Okay, Stace.
So when you when you use the Chromalight, are you looking at just the gray colors to start off with? Yes. Or are you, okay. So
I always work backwards in sequence. I always go after the gray first. And sometimes people are ultra gray, ultra dehydrated. And you got to remember, if you're using water, gel, or cream to put on the client's hand because you can't get that contact, that right there is telling you that they're internally weak. Okay. So as soon as you use the gel, what you're doing is you're manipulating the reading. And so therefore you're getting a bit of a false positive. The lowest areas will still show up low, but it's not as clear as when you first put them on to know, hey, they're really, really dehydrated. So what you want to do is you want to work on the water organs. So that's when you would, you know, work on the kidney, the ureter, the bladder, all the water organs to get that water work system back in track.
Okay. All right. And you do how many organs at the most?
It's hard to do more than 5 successfully. Okay. Right. So I stick to about 5, because you'll notice that in the software it says tonate, I think for 3 to 5 minutes is what it says.
Okay.
Hold on here. approximately 2 minutes. But I'm going to also tell you, I work very much intuitively. So sometimes I will tonate for 1 minute and sometimes I tonate for 10. It's whatever my intuition tells me. And you can also work with a pendulum where you hold the pendulum in the air and then do the treatment. And when the pendulum stops swinging, then the treatment's done.
Okay, that's what we were talking about last. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great way to do it. And do you guys want me to demonstrate, or is that pretty clear?
Demonstrate.
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 That's right.
Okay. Why was I feeling you guys wanted that? Now I have to find a pendulum. Hang on.
I got mine with me right here.
Stacy's got hers.
It's right here. It's been my best friend.
Okay. My pendulum's in another room, so I'm not going to be able to demonstrate that today, but
Hold yourself.
that's okay. But what you're doing is you're just allowing your pendulum to swing, and you just keep it. Yeah, there you go. You just keep the Penlight on, and then when the pendulum stops, then you know your light treatment is done.
Okay.
Super easy. So initially, because we didn't have the Chromalive software when Oramed came out with it, I was pretty creative in creating treatment protocols, and I still stick to them these days, to this day. I've also created a chakra balancing treatment on the hands, and it's something I freely give out, and it's something that I've just redesigned. So it's going to be going out to all the owners soon if I haven't sent it out already. Sometimes I have to go back on emails to see what I've already sent you guys.
We appreciate everything you do. Jeez Louise.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions?
So then when let's say we're treating 5 different areas and they're all gray. So you're just using that one specific color on all those areas. Okay, just one.
However, now Oramed automatically for gray does blue light. Okay, because gray's at the bottom. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to raise the vibration, because there's going to be also a little deflation after you do the treatment. So the goal is to keep it in the turquoise range. But this is where you have to use your intuition, because the more you work with light therapy, I understand that orange is the best color when there's dehydration. However, I may use blue based on some other factors that I'm seeing in the aura scan, or I may actually use orange because that's the color I think. And sometimes I tell people, you can always give me a call if you're working on a certain situation and say, hey, Suzanne, what color do you think I should use? I'll actually get a hit on what color, and then I'll ask you, what color do you think? And I'll tell you every single time the color I've chosen is the color you've chosen.
Wow.
So trust your intuition on that.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Do you,
Hello there.
hi. Do you use infrared at all?
No. And I've kind of avoided infrared and ultraviolet because there is a lot of controversy whether you should have a license to do that, because the Penlight, and just so you guys know, the Elite system is 1 watt of power. That is as close to laser light therapy as we can get without it being classified as laser. Okay, so I work within the spectral hue because I believe it's the safest to use. Not that I'm against ultraviolet or infrared by any means, but that's not my field of expertise or study.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a question. Now, with all this COVID thing going around, and being that regardless whether it's a virus, maybe bacteria, how will the Chromalive, give me a second. Simon, no, get down. Simon, the in-your-face cat. Excuse me, I'm sorry, everybody.
Hey, kitty cat.
Yeah, with the COVID thingy, how can the Chromalight be effective to being able to kind of like, how would I say? I don't know if you catch on to what I'm saying, but like, where it can help feature it, kill it or bring it down or make it turn it around, and because since a light therapy, I would expect that for somebody who's not totally COVID, has it, but might be carrying it.
Okay.
And then,
so I'm going to tell you my viewpoint on life in general here. I don't buy into anything. I believe it's all about an energy status, meaning on the biopulsar, we're seeing what's weak. I don't care what diagnosis people get because it's irrelevant to me. There's a cause and effect. I want to find out what the cause is that's creating the effect. I don't need a diagnosis. And in fact, one time I had a client in Arizona, actually, that came to see me when I did a training there many years ago. And I had a client come to see me that I had been talking to over the phone, and she brought me her portfolio. It was 1 inch thick from her doctor's, and she was trying to thrust it on me. And I said, I don't need that. She goes, well, this is all the diagnoses that I've had. And I went, I don't need that because I don't work that way. I work on where your energy status is. But what I do tell people is because the first time I get a reading, it's giving me a baseline understanding. The second time I get a reading, I'm seeing what's constant and what the variables are. Meaning, if something is fluctuating, then there's no stability there. Okay, but if I'm seeing, for example, in one organ, like the mouth, and it's constantly flatlining, then I know that there's a problem with the mouth. And we've got to think about things. And this is what I'm trying to research, is learning what problems people have, because when the mouth is flatlining, they could have mercury in their mouth, they could have gingivitis, a lot of, think about it. If people have an acid gut, then that acid is coming up their esophagus when they're sleeping, and it's breeding bacteria in their mouth for 8 hours. Okay. So if you're wondering why a lot of people flatline in the mouth, there's your answer.
No.
Okay. Plus, if we talk a lot, we're inhaling a lot of air, which then means, that we're drying out our mouth constantly. Right. So there's a few reasons as to why, but we've got to look at the cause and effect. So just going back to that, Anna, I don't like when people come to me with a diagnosis, because I think it taints my opinion. And I tell people that if you tell me everything, then I don't know what I'm looking for.
Right.
so if they have if they think they have it, does it show up in the scan, and can you treat it with a Chromalive treatment?
Yeah, of course.
To be able to stabilize it?
Yeah, because again, if you look at the thymus gland, which is your master or your major gland for immunity, and the thymus is either hyper or hypo. If it's hypo, it means that organ is working harder to fix itself, versus hypo means it doesn't have the energy to fix itself. Okay, so regardless, you're going to do a treatment, and then you can always, on that one sheet that I'm sending out or sent out, it illustrates the different organs for the respiratory system, the immune system, the lymph system. This is all part of what's being diagnosed with COVID.
Right.
Okay, and you have options, because I tell everyone when they say to me, oh, I have cancer, I went, you know what I say? I say, congratulations. Right?
Look at her face. She's just like, as a matter of fact.
I do. I've said it enough where I go, congratulations.
Wow.
Why are you here? Why are you seeing me?
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Because I don't believe in cancer. I believe in poor programming. And programming is bad habits, and it can be inherited, because if your mother was anemic, there's a greater likelihood you're going to be anemic, which means she probably had a root chakra, and you might be born with a predisposition for a low root chakra sometime in your life. Maybe not at birth, maybe not at birth, but it'll hit you.
Also, too, I've been noticing that the more people, as you're watching television, and how, like, if you're a person who's perfectly fine, you have nothing wrong with you, but they bombard you with all those medical, pharmaceutical products and telling you, oh, you have this, oh, you have that. And a lot of the people look and they say, I think I might have that. And the more they keep thinking, the more they're being subjected subliminally to believing that they have it. And then when they come to see you and you look at the scan, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Why is this, you might be watching too much television.
Well, yeah. And again, it goes back to a low root chakra, because when your root chakra is strong and healthy, you don't buy into things. You're a free thinker because you have enough inner strength and confidence to trust your own intuition. People come to me, and I know some of you have heard this before, but I get people coming to me that say, Suzanne, I want to be more intuitive. I want to be more psychic. And I go, great, work on your root chakra. And they go, no, I want to be more spiritual. I want to be higher in the brow and the crown. And I went, yes, I heard you. Work on your root chakra. God is not going to let you soar if you're not grounded. That's the way I look at it. And also, why does anybody believe that the root chakra is less spiritual than the crown?
Right.
It's not.
It wasn't obvious to me, because when you and I talked on the phone the other day, and I said my root is terrible, like everything below in the pelvis, and that's it, I'm shot.
Yeah.
And you asked me about my mom's history,
and I'll share with everyone else what I said to Cheryl. I basically said that you're put into this physical body here on this planet. So if you think about your physical body housing your soul and your spirit, it is your soul and spirit destiny to live this life. If you do not care of your physical body here, then you're never going to flourish as a spiritual being. So below, so above, right? We have to create that balance.
It should be a healthy balance. Right.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, we're over 2 hours now, and I can see that we can very easily do 2 hours.
Or 2 days.
Or 2 days. Actually, I can teach for 4 days, no problem. For those of you who have been here for my 4-day classes, I can talk for 4 days endlessly. But that being said, I will schedule another time. I'm going to look at your feedback, come up with another date, and we'll try doing this on a weekly basis. How's that?
Excellent. I would love it.
And Beverly, did you get everything you wanted out of this?
Yeah, it's given me lots to process, so I need to just go through it all and then write down all my questions.
Okay, awesome.
I'm ordering my Chromalive tomorrow, everyone.
I miss you, Suzanne, and I'm sorry. Ever since I spoke to you last, my sister and I have just recently recommitted. And so I'm going to be relaunching again. I got sidetracked for the past few years, but now seeing that I'm being called to this, and I'm going to recommit. And I'm
good.
So I'll be.
And I know, what, through our lives, sometimes we pay more attention to the biopulsar than other times. But, sometimes, I know there's a couple people that are new here, and, a couple people that aren't maximizing their system to the full potential because they think that they need more learning. I want to share with you what Tandu told me today, and I don't know if he's online. But Tandu said, Suzanne, I would have bought the biopulsar sooner if I would have known that it was this easy. But he thought he had to learn more. And sometimes that's the biggest stumbling block. We think we don't know enough to progress forward. However, that's not true. When I first started, I knew about the color language. The chakras were still foreign to me, and I certainly didn't know what the organs were. If you would have said to me liver, I went, oh, that's something my dad would cook sometimes and it stinks. I had no idea what the liver was. Now I consider myself well-rounded, but I'm definitely not an expert in any area, other than color. That is my first love. But you've got to just be asking questions when you see things. Ask the client, because once you come across it again and again, then you'll understand the accuracy of the system, and you'll understand how that symptom shows. I don't know all the answers. I haven't come across everything. I've come across a lot though. But again, the client often knows what's going on more so than you. So let them tell you things too. Now, Diego, yes, you have I know you want to say something.
Only a question. Now I have a new son. It's making 1 year on 9th July.
Wow.
Can I use the pen on him? Can I use the pen on him or?
Yes.
Or
However, you might do it more from a distance. And it's the same thing with animals. I was wondering why my dog was running away from me when I was using the Penlight. And then we had an animal crystal expert come and teach a class on how to work with crystals and the animals. And she basically said,
nice.
yeah, I know we're going to be doing more about that too, but she basically said that animals are so sensitive to crystals and light therapy that that's why my dog responded. And so when I started working a bit differently, he's definitely more open to the different treatments. So sometimes you just have to do it from a distance. And so with babies and children, they are so tuned into color very quickly. So again, it's just something that, you know, you'll have to test, but I use the light on everything. I use it to charge my water. Just so you guys know, I hold the Penlight over it and I will charge my water. Now I also have a variety of drinking glasses. I've gone out and I literally have glasses in every color. But prior to that, I would actually tonate my water. And the doctor that told me about the about tonating in the belly button, he also told me that glass is a conductor of energy. So you can also shine the Chromalive on your windows and that will actually charge the color into your room.
Okay.
That's what stained glass is all about when you see it in churches.
Exactly. And that's why a lot of stained glass is in a lot of these spiritual colors.
Yep.
It's beautiful. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, Deborah. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, nice to see you. You just said about shining the Chromalive on the windows. Is that from the inside or the outside?
Well, if it's winter out, I don't expect you to go outside. No, do it from the inside. Do it from the inside.
Okay, and then the sun shining through it will bring it back in. Is that kind of what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, and that's why you can tonate clear glasses, or you can just tonate directly above the water, you know, where you just put it in and just shine the light. And again, it doesn't take long. If you're unsure how long, hold the Penlight there, and the quality of the water might have some influence on that as well, because obviously minerals in the water, and if there's any heavy metals, it's just a lower frequency, right? But you'll get the best out of the water then.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I have to let you guys go. I know we could go for hours here, but I'm gonna let you guys go now. But I love you all.
Thank you. We love you too. Thank you.
It's good to see everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I'm glad to see you doing great, Suzanne.
Oh, Robin, we didn't talk. Oh.
I am thrilled, and it's so nice to have this gathering, and I'm so thankful.
Well, you're welcome, everyone, and I'm so glad you're all here. And I see Jeet, I see Susan, Vivek, Kayla. I'm so thankful that you guys are all here. Floyd, oh, just awesome. Awesome to see you all. Okay, hugs and kisses with lots of color.
Stay safe.
And,
we're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Paula,
Good night. Good day.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.
Just in time, my dog came.